The remote and windswept island of Rapa Nui, better known to the Western world as Easter Island, stands as a stark and sobering monument to the fragility of civilizations, a cautionary tale etched in stone and whispered by the wind. Located over 2,000 miles west of Chile in the South Pacific Ocean, Rapa Nui presents a unique and tragic story, one of remarkable ingenuity, rapid prosperity, devastating ecological collapse, and the ultimate demise of a thriving Polynesian society. The island's name, Easter Island, was bestowed upon it by Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen in 1722, on Easter Sunday, but its original inhabitants, the Rapa Nui people, had already lived there for centuries, having navigated vast distances across the ocean to settle this isolated speck of land. The story begins around 900 AD, when the first Polynesian settlers, likely originating from the Marquesas Islands or Mangareva, arrived on Rapa Nui, bringing with them their ancestral knowledge, skills, and a complex social structure. Rapa Nui, initially lush and teeming with life, offered a seemingly idyllic setting, a fertile landscape with abundant resources, including fresh water, fruit trees, sweet potatoes, taro, and a thriving avian population. The arrival of the Polynesian people marked the beginning of a period of cultural and societal development, characterized by the establishment of a hierarchical society led by Ariki, chiefs, the construction of elaborate ceremonial centers known as ahu, and the carving of the iconic moai, colossal stone statues representing ancestral figures and powerful chiefs. The moai, numbering over 887, became a central element of Rapa Nui culture, embodying the power and prestige of the Ariki and serving as intermediaries between the living and the ancestral realm. The construction of these massive statues, weighing several tons and standing up to 33 feet tall, required immense manpower, logistical coordination, and sophisticated engineering techniques, demonstrating the Rapa Nui's remarkable ability to organize and mobilize their society. The initial centuries of settlement saw gradual population growth, sustained by the island's resources and the development of agricultural practices, such as sweet potato cultivation and terracing to maximize land use. However, this prosperity was not to last indefinitely, as the Rapa Nui began to face a series of environmental challenges that would ultimately lead to their civilization's dramatic collapse. One of the primary drivers of the collapse was deforestation. As the population grew, the Rapa Nui increasingly relied on wood for fuel, construction, and the transport of moai statues. The large-scale clearing of forests led to severe soil erosion, reduced rainfall, and a decline in agricultural productivity. The loss of trees also had a devastating impact on the island's bird populations, which were a vital source of food and eggs. The resulting ecological degradation triggered a cascade of negative consequences, including famine, disease, and social unrest. Another contributing factor to the collapse was the intensification of intertribal warfare. As resources dwindled, competition for land and food escalated, leading to violent conflicts between different clans. These conflicts likely further disrupted agricultural production and contributed to the decline of the Rapa Nui population. The introduction of the sweet potato, likely from South America around 1300 AD, initially provided a valuable food source, but its dependence on a single crop made the Rapa Nui vulnerable to crop failures and contributed to malnutrition. The evidence suggests that the societal structure, once highly organized and collaborative, began to break down as resources became scarcer and competition intensified. The arrival of European explorers in the 18th century, particularly the Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen in 1722, provided a glimpse of a society in crisis. Roggeveen's observations described a population numbering in the thousands, but one that was visibly diminished and demoralized, living in relative poverty and engaging in ritual cannibalism. possibly driven by famine. While the practice of ritual cannibalism is highly debated and may have been misunderstood by the Europeans, the stark contrast between the flourishing society of earlier centuries and the struggling community encountered by Roggeveen is undeniable. Subsequent explorers, including the Spanish explorer José González de Mendoza in 1774, provided further accounts of a diminished and fractured population, albeit with some conflicting details. By the mid-19th century, the Rapa Nui population had dwindled to a few hundred individuals, largely due to the combined effects of starvation, disease, and slave raids by Peruvian slavers. The Peruvian slaving expeditions, which began in the 1860s, forcibly removed hundreds of Rapa Nui people to work on guano mines and sugar plantations in Peru, further decimating the island's already weakened population. The introduction of European diseases, such as measles and smallpox, to which the Rapa Nui had no immunity, caused widespread epidemics that further accelerated the population decline. By the early 20th century, the Rapa Nui population had been reduced to a mere handful of individuals, clinging to survival on a ravaged island. Today, the descendants of the original Rapa Nui people, numbering around 6,000, live primarily on the island and in mainland Chile, striving to preserve their cultural heritage and reclaim their ancestral lands. The story of Rapa Nui serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of island ecosystems and the potential for human actions to trigger catastrophic environmental and societal collapse. The collapse was not solely due to a single cause, but rather a complex interplay of factors, including deforestation, resource depletion, climate change, intertribal warfare, disease, and slave raids. The debate continues regarding the precise weighting of these factors, with some scholars emphasizing the role of environmental degradation, while others highlight the impact of social and political factors. Regardless of the specific nuances of the debate, the Rapa Nui experience underscores the importance of sustainable resource management, social cooperation, and resilience in the face of environmental challenges. The island's story has inspired countless works of art, literature, and scientific research, serving as a poignant reminder of humanity's capacity for both remarkable ingenuity and devastating self-destruction. The Moi, silent sentinels of a lost civilization, stand as enduring symbols of a people who once thrived on a remote island in the vast Pacific, and whose story serves as a timeless lesson for humanity. Recent archaeological discoveries, including evidence of sophisticated aquaculture practices and the identification of new plant species, are challenging previously held assumptions about Rapa Nui resource management and agricultural techniques. These findings suggest that the Rapa Nui people possessed a greater understanding of their environment and a more diverse range of survival strategies than previously acknowledged. The restoration efforts on Easter Island, including reforestation projects and the preservation of cultural sites, are vital to ensuring the long-term survival of both the island's ecosystem and its cultural heritage. The Rapa Nui National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, plays a crucial role in protecting the island's unique cultural and natural resources. The story of Easter Island continues to evolve as new research sheds light on the lives and challenges of its ancient inhabitants. By learning from the mistakes of the past, we can strive to build a more sustainable and equitable future for all.